All right, got to turn off my phone, and we are live. As I turn my phone off, not up. Up is the problem. I don't need any noisemakers. I can go over there. I have enough distractions as it is. So you always notice me looking around over here because there's so many things and stuff I want to talk about. Vlog Thursday, number 244, TrueNAS, new shirts, UnIFi stuff, and business updates. I always got to look because I can't remember what I was talking about earlier. Making lists really helps consolidate me for things and trying to make sure I'm doing all the right things. I am at the tail end as I just finished recording a video. Actually, I finished editing the video. I was the tail end, though, is still some of the testing. So even though I make the video, there's occasionally, before I publish it, not just the auditing, editing of the video, but to make sure anything I said in a video wasn't inaccurate. So maybe some further testing and stuff like that. So let's look together and we'll show what I'm talking about here. And I don't know if I need to add this back into the video because I did skip this part and I thought this might be important. When you go here to system settings and we're looking at TrueNAS scale, I didn't put that you can boot back into the old version. So let me probably need a little more context, right? What we did here and what I've been working on is how to migrate from TrueNAS core to TrueNAS scale with all your data intact, not migrating the data around, but actually doing in-place upgrade. And so the in-place upgrade video is pretty much done, except for, do I need to tell you that you can roll back? I thought about adding that as an addendum on the end. And I actually don't know for sure that you can. We can test that right here live before that video goes live and make sure that's accurate, that you can roll back. But these are some of those fun little things of making videos and doing that. So I don't always roll things back and stuff like that when you're setting these up. But I'm like, I think that's probably appropriate for a video when I talk about migrating from TrueNAS scale or TrueNAS core over to TrueNAS scale. So it's going to be kind of fun little details. There's always these fun details when you're making this stuff. That's part of the reason I love talking technology. So Grayson asks, has anyone had their comments deleted in YouTube? Actually, what's interesting, and this is why I have the forums. This goes back. I've had the forums for a couple of years now. YouTube filtering comments. Here's what I see as a creator. The comments are garbage on YouTube, and they have been for years. The problem before was way too much spam. Like as a creator, managing the comments was difficult because so much spam is in the comments. And so it's just kind of a pain in the butt. You get just all these, weird ones with links and stuff like that. So they started really cut down on all that out there. But now they've gone so far, lots of comments just don't show up now. And I don't know why, but they're just missing altogether. So that's been the more recent transaction of comments. And let me show you an interesting thing that's going on here. Let me get the comment section pulled up here. So here's how I see comments that are in here. And then here's all the comments that are held for review. There's sometimes some that are in here, but these are the kind of comments that I see all the time. This stuff and this stuff. These are all garbage comments. So I don't know why that's... maybe that's not spam. This one looks like spam. So we'll go there with that one spam. These are definitely spam, whatever those are. This one I'll look through, and I'll audit these later. But this is... okay. I'll look at those later, but you can kind of see this can be a little bit challenging to go through. And I went through it just not long before I started this video. I looked at some of this, and sometimes when I go through the held to review, nothing shows up at all in here, which is a different puzzle. I actually had, when I did that video with Haroon, who, sent me this cool Thinks Canary cup. When I did the Canary tokens video, Haroon couldn't post anything on that video from his phone, but could post perfectly fine from the web interface, and it wouldn't even show up in the review. It's funny, me and Haroon were like talking back and forth, trying to get the comments on there. So yes, the comment system is very broken. If you want to see how broken, follow Graham Stephan in his saga of almost getting his own several million subscriber YouTube channel deleted because he made some jokes in some comments that caused YouTube to flag his account. So yeah, the comment system is very broken, but it's not broken. I don't look at YouTube as necessarily the bad guys. I see YouTube as a company that doesn't have a massive amount of staff, but does have 1 billion users on there. So how do you moderate a system that people are constantly gaming and trying to do it in an automated way? Because throwing people at it is absolutely not a scalable solution to try to say, hey, let's just hire 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 moderators. But even if you said, let's hire 30,000 moderators for the number of daily active users you have on YouTube, that might be enough. But that's a lot of people. So they always look for a more automated solution for it, which makes it hard. So that's why I have forums where I say at the end of like tons of videos, if you want to have a more in-depth discussion, I have forums where you can actually engage with me. So that's why I have that. Let's see. The only thing that stays is the real spam. Sometimes the spammers are, because they're trying everything through usually some automation system posting, they know what does and what doesn't stick. So while you see spam that does stick, the reality is the spammers may be pushing out X thousand of messages and you're only seeing what was left over. It's challenging. Moderation on forums is not easy in general. So I had someone angry because my forums require email sign up, and I'm like, well, if I let everyone post publicly, which a couple people have been mad about that I don't just allow anonymous posts. I'm like, that just is how you turn it into a garbage fire. So no, that's not even an option. But if you post links, you're most likely, if you're posting links in YouTube comments, I'm sorry, you're probably not going to survive YouTube comments. Simple as that. That's it. So the other reason that the forums are better, in my opinion, and Level 1 Text is a wonderful example of this too. With the forums, you end up with all these write-ups that are done. For example, write-ups I've done on like WireGuard or TrueNAS and different instructions and tutorials I put together in there. They become part of the knowledge index that Google indexes. YouTube comments, they're too basic. They're kind of just basic replies, and they're not going to be where you land on from even, it's funny because even Google search doesn't seem to index the comments very well to even give you useful information. And because the comments are so limited on what you can type with no real good markup language or anything like that, I can't do a more articulate post inside of there. So that's why I have external forums. It makes it really simple. And by the way, a lot of big YouTubers it was a trend for a while just to turn the comments off. It seemed like an easy solution for them because they're like, engage with me any other way. So that's that. Yes, we still use Enable, for those of you wondering. I thought about doing a video since Enable changed their name to talk about what changed, how it looks, and everything else. It's interesting. I'm part of the insiders, if you will. They have an advisory committee that I belong to, and the whole advisory committee thing gives me a lot of knowledge on the inside of it, but I also, because I'm a heavy user of the enabled tool stack, I have a lot of insight into how a lot of things work and what I can and can't say publicly on things like that. Like they let me know about something that might be upcoming in there and I can't talk about that. So nonetheless, that is something that can be done where I'll do some videos where there's plenty I can talk about that might be interesting to people on there. So let's see. Hello from Poland. How's the VoIP provider doing? Not well. We will be doing an update on that probably. Look for that coming soon. But at the very moment, they're not doing well. So life is hard over it for the folks at VoIP MS. I don't know. A debrief is... I would be great, but we have to wait till the storm is over before we can get to the debrief. So, yeah. It's Enable looks a lot like GFI Max. It sure does. They've done a lot to change and update things, but they kept the premise of the interface much the same. So yes. LACP doesn't work in scale. I don't use LACP and scale, so I have not tested to confirm or deny such things. I have no idea. So maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. I don't know. I don't have an answer on that. You seem to be stating it as if you know. I imagine there's a bug somewhere or a ticket open if it's not working. Does your forum software support Google or Facebook authentication? Typically, I use Google for most things, the type of service. I don't know if OAuth is supported. I'm using Discourse, and I don't know if they have an OAuth authentication. I don't know if I want to add that. I've had two people. Weird to me, because also both these people that messaged me didn't follow through. Someone said for GDPR reasons they want to be able to delete their account, and I'm like, delete your account, and then they didn't. And someone else that was on the forums for a longer time wanted to delete their account and said they couldn't. Now it turns out there was an option by default turned on that if you had an account for X amount of days, it would not let you delete the account, and I don't really know why. I turn that option off. So people who want to delete their account, you are free to delete your account. I don't mind. I don't know how that works if you OAuth, if it's as easy to delete the account. So I have to look in that. So, but if you sign up with your email account, you decide, I don't want to be part of these forums, delete it. I'm fine with this. I don't care. I mean, I like when people are there, but I'm not going to force you to keep an account. So nonetheless, so yeah. Yep, we still use S1 and Huntress. Sentinel-1 and Huntress. So, what are some common issues? Port forwarding does not work on pfSense. pfSense and port forwarding works perfectly fine. I've got a video on it, and we port forward all the time in pfSense. I'm unaware of any problems. pfSense, HA proxy, Cloudflare DNS, and self-hosted web server. For Home Lab, I have an entire video on HA proxy. Put whatever you want behind it. I don't cover what you can put behind HA proxy, but in my video, I demo several things that you can put by HA proxy. We have Zen Orchestra behind HA proxy. We have UnIFi behind HA proxy. And so it works with a variety of web servers. But I have a video on HA proxy on my channel. I have 3 separate videos, maybe 4 about HA proxy. So yes, as far as I know, because people from Europe have to access it, that's why I had it. I just didn't realize by default my forums didn't allow for deletion of an account that was over like 90 days old. Thought that was an odd feature. That's like the default option though. All I did was uncheck the box as soon as someone requested it and said, I'd like to delete my account. Oh, I didn't know you couldn't. Here you go. I fixed it. I fixed it within, they sent me the message. I happened to be online and I fixed it right away. I'm like, Googled it real quick. Why can't you delete an account? Oh, here's a checkbox, done. Now any user can delete their account. So yeah, in terms of, you know, I'm very compliant on all that stuff. If, you know, like I said, I'm not trying to hold anybody hostage at all for the forums or anything like that. So, gift you a t-shirt. I'm not gifting any t-shirts today, sorry. But I can talk about t-shirts. So let's actually pull up shirts because I want to talk about shirts today. Not really about shirts, but we'll just mention shirts because you guys asked for something and I'm making sure I give people what they asked for. Sometimes. As soon as I figure out where my shirt link is. Hold on. Gear, affiliate. There we go. There's the shirts. And open it up and then I'll switch over to the other screen. Make sure it goes to the right one. All right, here we go. Shirts. A few people asked, and I have no problem with this at all. So we unbranded some shirts. So people who would like an unbranded version of like the Cat 6 shirt, for example, or whatever shirt you want. If there's a branded one in here you'd prefer a different version of, you don't have to get ones with my logos. People ask me for ones with the logos, so I made them with the logo. We wear them with the logo. If you want them without the logo, both are available in the t-shirt store. Kyle over here at Lawrence Systems fixed that for us. And yeah, I like this one too. This one does have the logo on it, but I think this one's cool. I like these shirts. I got to order some more shirts. That's maybe something I'll do today. Get a few more of them. Bash the like button. Now I do not have any more, but like RAID is not a backup. I say it a lot. I like this, but the one that says back that NAS up, yeah, that one. There's someone that's filed a copyright against it, but I don't understand because they won't reply other than threatening me. I guess it's kind of fuzzy on how that works. So I'm working out it's very vague and it's a lot of legal terminology. They said they own it, but the person, I can't find other people that have that as a phrase like on a shirt. So I didn't take that from someone else. So we don't understand why the person, and I can't find out who the person is because they file it with Teespring. Teespring says, would you like to file a legal complaint and counter with them? And it's because they won't tell me who the person is. So that's a mystery why those shirts are missing for now until I figure out details of why that works like that. So yeah, nonetheless, but they're here. I don't know. This is stupid, silly. It made me laugh, but if you like it, it's New England Clam Router. So that does still have the logo on it. Cause I don't know. It looks weird without it. So that's my update on shirts. So yeah, if you prefer branded, get a branded. If you don't want branded, I wanted to make sure it's available to everyone. So oh, yeah. Cookie notifications, as if that really helped anyone. That was what came out of some of the EU stuff. That's a different annoyance. Cat 6 shirts one I probably have the most of, like that I've purchased the most of. I have a row of them in the closet. Let's see. Oh, am I enjoying life? And I enjoyed life when I ran the business. I just get to do something different now that I put Brett in charge of running the business. I'm here. I'm still involved in things. I'm much happier not doing things like, hey, you know what we need to do? Re-rate our insurance. You know what we need to do? Review another SOP that has to be changed. Now that I don't have to do any of that, I'm so much happier. Brett does that now. So, I mean, I would say my happiness level went up, but I mean, it's not easily quantifiable. And I wasn't super unhappy running a business. I've been doing it for 18 years now. So overall, I like, and if you notice, it depends on things I got going on, but I've been able to crank out a few more videos and work on and some more technical projects. By the way, if you didn't watch that video with 45 Drives that I tweeted today, 45 Drives did a benchmarking and data set storage video, and I've been engaging back and forth with them. I had got to directly talk to a couple of people about video suggestions over there, so it's been fun talking to the 45 Drives people. We're obviously involved with them because we're buying and selling their products and things like that, but their YouTube channel, it needs more people to subscribe to it. They have some really good content over at 45 Drives. And it's a lot of the questions people ask me of, hey, Tom, will you do a video on Ceph? I'm like, I don't need to. Like 45 Drives knows it better than me and has a video on it. So there's, yeah, definitely check out the 45 Drives YouTube channel. The video they just did, like I said, about the whole storage and data set and configuring a lot of little details on ZFS is really solid. Yeah, the 45 Drives people overall are great. Like working with them as a company and on projects, like because we buy their servers, thumbs up to that too. Customer service, everything's been great. The only problem we had, which wasn't a 45 Drives problem, that turns out, is when we ordered a server, the Rails didn't come in. Turns out the Rails went to Lowe's, which is relatively close to my building, but certainly not my building. We don't know why the rack rails that hold the server together went to Lowe's. So we had to contact 45 Drives, and they're like, well, someone shipped and received it, and we got the server, but we didn't get the rails. It turns out they were just at Lowe's. So that happens sometimes. So unrelated, that's my, confusion and caused some confusion for them. But other than that, everything else has been wonderful dealing with them. They're really sharp when it comes to their software too. I know you're an open source shop. Do you run some sort of open source LDAP server for internal authentication for staff? Nope. We use Google for authentication for staff because we are a G Suite company. So that is the easiest way, and LDAP wouldn't solve any problems at all for some of the things we log into. So when you start logging into different web services that do support OAuth, you tie everything to your Google G Suite OAuth, because those services aren't going to talk to my LDAP server if I had one. So why have an LDAP server? There's really nothing locally that you really have to log into. There's a couple things, but yeah, managing it that way doesn't make a lot of sense. I may be an open source advocate, but I'm also a realistic person who runs a business. And so we do it, we do it the way, in a more traditional way, I say, because that's kind of what we have to do. Missed a few of my videos. I heard you say you're now using a ticketing system for the company. What changed your mind, and what are you recommending? I don't know that I'm recommending it. It's just the volume we're doing it became untenable to try to manage it without a ticketing system. So we were using Freshdesk. Freshdesk works fine. It's one, hey, mentioning things that have single sign-on. Freshdesk has single sign-on, and that's absolutely works perfectly fine. What is New Pipe software? I don't use New Pipe software. Don't know what it is, so I can't answer it. What else was in here? All right. Yeah, single sign-on, single pane of glass, two goals that seem to be impossible to ever actually achieve. There's always one more separate thing. Yes, that is a real challenge. That's, I don't know, it's just whatever. What's my favorite cloud provider for hosting services? We're going to go with Linode, and there's an offer code. Use our offer code that I don't have for our company. I have it for the Home Lab podcast. So if you use the offer code that's it's linked on all the Home Lab show videos on my channel. Use Linode. So any tips for migrating Google Workspace to Office 365? I don't know. We do a lot of those migrations because sometimes people have line of business applications that require it. They're always a grab. There's not any one single easy answer. BitTitan offers some software for it, but yeah, it is what it is. If it runs on Linux, it runs on Linode. Yeah, Linode's great. I have them, as I said, as a sponsor for the Home Lab show. So if you would like to sign up for Linode, I don't have yet, and I'll get around to it, setting up Linode as a sponsor for my channel. I've been engaging with them, so I might. I've been slow to take on sponsors on my channel because I kind of sponsor myself, but I do need to make money and for all the time, because in case you didn't know, to have someone like Brett running your company costs us a lot of money. And if I'm spending my time making videos, YouTube ad revenue is cool, but it ain't that cool. It ain't that much money. So there's a yes, I do probably need to get more, and not much. I'm not trying to turn into tons of sponsors, but some balance in between. It's a thing. But you've probably noticed I've brought this up a couple times before on the channel. I don't take on any of those VPN sponsors. Yeah, I'm not big on those, but I understand why people do, because some of these VPN sponsors offer you thousands and thousands of dollars to mention them. They want to pay you a lot of money. So I understand completely if you're a YouTuber and you want to make money, or you have VPN is like an easy thing to sell. You just read the script for the VPN people, and next thing you know, you're rolling in sometimes several $1,000s for those ad reads. They're, like my friend told me, he said something really interesting. He's a content creator as well. And he's like, I said, I didn't want to do mattress ads and things like that. And he says, Tom, everybody has to sleep somewhere. He goes, do the damn mattress ad. And they also told me what he gets paid to do a mattress ad. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should do a mattress ad. I'll still skip the VPN companies, but after seeing what he got paid to do mattress ads, I'm like, hey, would you like to sleep on a mattress? The YouTube life, or content creation life, I should say. Let's see. Not a fan of VPNs. They lie, the ads, and plain and simple. Yeah, and you see people, even non-tech YouTubers, talking about VPNs. People who are completely not in a tech space, or in like whatever you want to call it, lifestyle space or whatever. And as long as they read it, there will be VPN services. They're way oversold. The privacy is on there. Tom Scott's talked about this a few times. I've never done a video really hating on it, but I've certainly, seen enough other people, such as Tom Scott, talking about this. And I don't know. And I don't know that me saying it makes any difference. I just decided not to shill for the VPN companies because I think they're oversold. Yeah, Casey Neistat, KBHD, yes. KBHD's at least a tech person, but he's not a network engineer tech. He's more like a consumer tech type person. Well, I guess unless you look at his camera videos, and I would call him a prosumer tech video because, who doesn't like shooting in 8K epic reds? But hey, his studio is still pretty damn amazing. I love his studio tour he did. You run the NetSec Now channel so you understand. Yeah, it is what it is. You have to do some of these things to make money on it. So what's my preferred way of learning programming? I don't really program. So my preferred way of learning anything, though, is I start with a goal of what I want to do, and then I pick all the things I need to know to get to the goal. That's always been how I do it. I want to get this done, so what do I need? I need this. I need to learn this. I need to learn this. If I wanted to do a cool hypervisor, I need to understand not just the hypervisor system, but I need to understand like storage arrays that I may attach to it. So you learn the storage arrays, and you kind of iteratively get to where you want to be. That's been my approach for it, but yeah. It's not like there's one size fits all. And if you're going at it from purely, I want a job, well, in that case, look at what they're hiring and learn the thing they're hiring for, or get the cert they're hiring for. If you know there's a demand for a certain language, because you can go and look at job listings, then you should probably learn that language with the goal of getting in there. If your goal is to learn an obscure language because you want to, cool. Just don't expect to get a job in an obscure language if no one's hiring for a obscure language. Let's see. Tone Loken War Dialer. Oh boy, that's been a while. That brings back memories. Yeah. I hear a lot of VPN ads on podcasts these days. Then I think I hear a lot of the HelloFresh stuff and things like that. I don't mind. Like I said, I'm probably gonna do some non-technical ads if I get some sponsors. I'm talking to different people, and I just got to get around to it. Linode, though, at least is an alignment of services we actually like and use with a sponsor that wants to work with us. Linode's been really overall like easy people to deal with, and we deal direct with them. If you didn't know this, in the content creation space, a lot of times you never get to deal directly with them. It's all done through brokering of third parties. I actually really prefer to work directly with a company, but if not, right here in Detroit is a huge one called I think it's called Out Loud Group. I know a few big YouTubers that actually use them, and it's interesting, but they broker all the deals for you. And they just, what you do is you sign a contract with them, and eventually they just understand your market, and they negotiate the contracts for you and get you the rates. So that's usually how things like the HelloFreshes of the world, and that's how a lot of those work. You're not dealing with HelloFresh. You could be, but you may not be dealing directly. You deal with these third-party brokers that do all that. So, let's see. Looking for something open source VPN server that has a web UI that an average desktop user can make new accounts. You can actually download the OpenVPN with a web UI. So I thought about doing a video on that because I don't think a lot of people realize that there's a couple different components to OpenVPN. They do have a web UI. It's part of a commercial product they offer, but I think you get 10 users for free. So that's one way. Another way is to use something like Tailscale, which also gives you so many users for free and has a web interface. So those are two VPN options that you can use. Or my suggestion is pfSense has a web interface and it's a VPN. So doing your VPN, or Untangle if you want, that has a web interface as well. So hopefully that makes sense. Those are a couple options on VPNs. Let's see. OpenVPN access server. Okay, you only have 2 free users on OpenVPN access server. It's better than nothing. I don't know how many users you need, but like I said before, hey, go ahead and use built into pfSense, because you can use the whole web UI of pfSense to build the VPN server and manage all the users. So to me, that seems like the easiest one. It's probably the one I've certainly done the most videos on, and it works. Works quite well. I would say there's no problems there doing that. UnIFi. So just pfSense and only set up the OpenVPN bit. You could do that too. That requires a little bit more. Here's the problem. If you wanted to set up pfSense and only use the OpenVPN part of it, because you're using a different router, now you also have to understand how to create the network routes to make things work if you wanted to get around your network in different areas. That's why it's so good to have pfSense as the firewall, router, and VPN, because it's going to build all the extra routing in there. So for people trying to go simple, they may find it simple because they like using whatever their cable modem provided, cable provider or internet provider provided them, and put something behind it. But then now you have the next issue of, well, now I want it to route to this other network and this other network. Well, okay, you can do that, but yeah. Yeah, the Tailscale, I liked it when I started using it. I said they did a nice job of putting it all together. Now, it's an open source client with a closed source back end, which cool, because now you can understand the connectivity and what's going on in your computer and what the client side is doing, but you still are reliant on them managing the control plane for Tailscale. I mean, there's some trade-offs there, but it's a nice system. It's easy, it works well, and things like that. So, you know, I mentioned videos of my car guy, and what kind of cool cars do you have? 67 Pro Street Camaro and a bunch of 80s G bodies of my 74 Grand Torino. Right now I have a Tesla. I used to have all kinds of cars. I'm less a car person here in 2021 than I used to be. I sold off a lot of that. So at present, my toy is my Tesla. No, I have no other hot rods or anything like that. I got one Tesla and 3 motorcycles. So I'm a car person because I'm a car enthusiast who goes to car shows all the time, but I'm not someone who wants to possess a collection of cars. Doesn't really interest me that much. I like seeing them and talking about them. So I go to car show things and stuff like that because we're in the Detroit area, but yeah, not really something I really have a desire to collect. And I gotta build. We just moved. We just moved. I moved about a year ago, and I still only have one garage, and I need to build my second garage to put stuff in. So it's a big garage I have now, and we've got the cement part set for the second garage that I'll have. So even if I did want to buy cars, I don't have a place to put them. My Tesla does not have pfSense. I don't think you can install pfSense on a Tesla. I could be wrong, but it does run Linux. And it's the first time I've used Linux, and it handles Windows really, really well. Let you guys think about that one for a minute. Back over to the the trade-offs, but I'm happy to pay for it. I think you guys are talking about, does it run Doom? It can. Oh, they got a bunch of other games. They don't have Doom on Tesla. That's actually kind of disappointing. They should have Doom, because then you can say your Tesla runs Doom. But the TrueNAS scale instance, we can go back over to that. So that's what I was working on, as I said before I started. Now there's a lot more of you here than there were before. But so far, and let's test this part together, because this is another. I took my TrueNAS Mini and I turned it into a scale system. Matter of fact, credentials. I don't see any. At least one thing's not working. There we go. View enclosure. Yeah, view enclosure doesn't view enclosure yet. Oh well. But I just loaded my TrueNAS Mini with this on there. Now what I want to do now is go and try this. I assume this worked. I said it did in a video, but before I publish said video, let's make sure it works. So this is TrueNAS scale. This is TrueNAS 5.1. So right now we're on scale, and let's try to reboot it, because this is what I want to know. Can I think I can just click this and do it. We'll say activate. Activate boot environment. That sounds fancy. Activate the boot environment. All right. Now we're going to restart it. Confirm. And see what happens. See if it actually boots into the right version of TrueNAS. Will it go backwards? Will it boot into that? I said yes in the video, but does it actually work? We're going to find out here in a second. Actually, I'm going to probably... it sits here a long time while it goes through and does a whole bunch of boot checking. So I'll answer questions in the comments over there. Any possibility you might do a video into LTO tape backup? Not likely, because I don't use it. So most of the videos I do is because I use it. I have it. I have one of those things. I do not have one of those things. I do not plan to buy one of those things. So not really something I'm likely to do a video on. Okay, this is still booting up. So yeah, I'm not likely to do an LTO tape video on it. I don't have any clients that use it at all. So not much I can say about it. Did you go the replication path from migrating to core to scale? No, that's what this video is about that I did on this, was me doing an in-place upgrade in place. That's why it's got two boot partitions. That one is for scale. So that's the video I want to upload. It's a short video, by the way. It's like a 10-minute video that I show how to upgrade in place. Now, what we're testing now is that we can migrate backwards to the previous version on here. So I'm pretty sure that's going to work. So I didn't have to do any replication. But by the way, something I do know works is going between the... hey, look, it's booting up in the TrueNAS. That's awesome. So we see that back here. Pull this back up. Wait for it to finish booting. But the things that do work is interoperability between TrueNAS Scale and TrueNAS Core. I had no problems getting them to talk to each other. So that was not an issue at all. So that was pretty cool. What's your 3-2-1 plan services software? We use Enable Backup. I don't know what else you're asking for there. So ditch Bacula, go for Bare OS. Yeah, I haven't used Bacula, so. Pretty expected, explaining prices. All right, that's not for me. Scale is really impressive for the future. I'm really happy with Scale overall. I haven't had any issues with it. Actually, where's that? It's this one here, I think. This is not the one I just rebooted. This one I loaded from scratch. It's been great. So I've started putting a lot more data on here. There's still, I got about 265 terabytes free still available space. I haven't filled it up just yet. So that one has 265 terabytes. This one, which is not done booting yet. Still going, guys. Still almost there. There we go. Syncing multipath. Starting cron. There we go. Now we're back to core. So let's log into core and make sure everything's still there. Perfect. Hey, look. Now, when you're using core, the system can view the enclosure properly because core is more mature product. So yay, that works. Now here comes the fun thing I'm going to do. I'm going to benchmark each of these. So that's going to be kind of fun. I'll benchmark it in core, benchmark it in scale, and go back and forth and see how it works. That's on my to-do list for videos because I know someone's going to want to know, is it faster in there? I don't know. We're going to find out though. I don't really have an answer for that. So let's go back over to the boot environment. Yep. And then I can still set this back over to activate this one. Yep. Perfect. This worked out flawlessly. I'm actually kind of excited about this. So I will build out the environment. I will do it. So I do the testing, then reboot, do the testing again, and go from there. That's exciting. So for those of you, what are the tests you want to see run? Matter of fact, I think I have. Open it up here. That's open there. Close. Cool. All right. Hey, cool. There's my, where is this attached to? Okay, that's on this one here. What is the last test I ran on this? I'll have to look at the Phoronix tests I ran. I think they're already on this one here. So I'll be doing a series of tests, and that's a separate video. The migration video, to keep it brief, I just talked about how to do the migration in place. But yeah, this is all set up. So yay. Fun stuff. I need to do some new videos because there's been so many new features that have been brought out by the folks here. Matter of fact, this is pretty cool. Let me pull it up in Twitter and drag it over. They had just tweeted this out. This will make a lot of people happy. I haven't dove into it. It's introduction here, but this is RunX next generation secured containers. So containers are coming to XCP-NG. So that's excited. The Zen project's going to have it. I haven't tested this at all, but this is exciting and something I definitely want to play with here. So you can Docker pull host Ubuntu. Oh, it looks like you can actually set this up. I don't know. I haven't played with this at all, but I just seen the announcement that they had it. And a lot of people said this is the reason they like Proxmox better. Well, this is a thing now. So this is a new feature they're adding on here. So once you have all the containers in there, then yeah, that's actually kind of exciting that you will be able to have both of these things in here. So that's definitely pretty cool. Love to see how you optimize L2 ARC cache for 10 gig. You just make it bigger. You just need more. Throw more memory. The more memory you can put in this system, as a matter of fact, the more memory you can put in the system, 125 gigs. If I fire up the other server, it has 256 gigs. You just need more memory. There's not like a special secret optimization sauce. It's called put more memory in it. That's your optimization. The caching works by first caching all the stuff right here. So you want it to cache as much as possible in memory before you start adding more caching drives. Then first make sure you put memory, because memory is faster than hard drives. So it's a secondary time before you want to say, okay, I'll put some drives in there. Generally speaking, memory is not really inexpensive, but relatively affordable to put this in for the ARC caching. The adaptive ARC cache inside of TrueNAS is very mature product, very advanced product that really understands, even when there's multiple workloads, what needs to go into cache in order to serve it up fast. So the answer is pretty much more memory. And the more memory you have, the faster we can serve up a lot of that data in there. It's kind of as simple as that. Let's see. Dude, tape is good for offsite. RunX supports Doctor. Is RunX your own branding feature? Is an actual containerization such as LXC? I don't know. I've not used RunX, so I'm going to ask Jay about that. So Jay is the person I will be delegating it to. Matter of fact, me and Jay are working on an upcoming video together. I'm going to be migrating his TrueNAS servers to TrueNAS Scale, and I'm going over to his place to do it. So we're going to do it in person. So we're going to be talking about this as a video. I want Jay on it because Jay knows Docker really well. I'm on the beginning side of learning Docker, so I now understand what pods are. So Jay taught me Tuesday. Jay taught me Tuesday what pods are, or at least gave me a better understanding of how they all work together. So yes. What do I think about ZFS coming to Unraid? Welcome to the party, Unraid. if you like Unraid, cool. I don't have a use case for it. Unraid is now catching up with features I'm used to using in TrueNAS. But I'll admit, Unraid has pass-through features. I don't do a lot of pass-through. If you do a lot of pass-through, Unraid seems to favor that really well. So awesome if it works for you, but I don't do enough pass-through. So if that's your thing you have to get done, then okay, do all the pass-through. We use Unraid for that. TrueNAS Scale has some pass-through options too, so I'm kind of excited about that. But with TrueNAS Scale having Docker and being based on Debian and having some pass-through options, I don't even know what the use case becomes for Unraid at that point. I'm just throwing it out there. Cool that Unraid's going to catch up with the ZFS, but the folks over at IX Systems, the parent company behind TrueNAS, Core, and Scale, they are long time embedded deeply into building ZFS at scale and building ZFS with quality and reliability. So the first time a company integrates a product, they're still integrating ZFS and they're still based on Linux. So I'm not saying it's something that's too hard to do. It's very popular combination, but it's going to be new for them, bringing it all on there. Yes, Kubernetes Pods is what I was referring to. I said Docker, but I also should say Kubernetes included and the way it's all handled inside of TrueNAS, because TrueNAS Scale has pods in here. So when you're setting up things in the apps, I wonder if this one ever did. Oh, cool. This one's active. But it has you set pod information and stuff like that here. I wasn't completely clear on how that worked inside of here. As soon as Jay looked at it, he recognized right away how any of these images work. So you got your catalogs, you have the installed applications, you have the available applications, and understanding exactly, like clicking next to yes, anyone can do that. I always like to know why everything works the way it does. And by the way, with my rudimentary understanding, I was able to get SyncThing up and running and working. So that not a problem there. As a matter of fact, let's update it because it says there's an upgrade. So let's upgrade this. Woohoo! New version. Upgrade. There we go. And that was fast. Stopped. Oh, do I got to start it manually? Does it start on its own? Is there an option for this? Oh, it's deploying. Okay, that was changing. So it's just a matter of, in order to teach people how to use all of this, I need to make sure I understand it very well. And I haven't used it much because it's so new, but it looks pretty cool. Do you find the TrueNAS Web UI particularly slow compared to Unraid? I haven't used Unraid, so I don't know. I don't really, if you're watching me use it, so I don't know that there's really any UI lag. Was that laggy? Well, it's here. That's beta because it's a scale and it's a beta service. Is this laggy? Is this not fast enough? I'm asking. I don't know. Is Unraid somehow snappier and faster? I don't see to have a problem with this. This seems completely acceptable to navigate through. Like, okay, cool. Associated targets. Yep, I got that set up on there. Services. Let's edit this service. I don't see any lag with the TrueNAS dashboard. So the closest you may come to lag, I think if I hit view enclosure, that pauses while it populates, but I don't know. I don't know. You tell me, opinion of the audience here watching, is this laggy? Let's see. Do you know where you can define replications on the pods? I cannot find any settings on defining how many replications to initialize. No, I don't know that. These are questions that I'm going to have to ask Jay. These are things I just don't know when I was playing with this of exactly how any of that works. So that's going to be all, kind of a learning experience for me of how they handle it. Now, the other thing I don't know is if, and this is, I haven't read about this, and maybe someone can already answer this for me. Can I manage all this from the command line, and it automatically works the same from the command line as it does from doing it in the UI. Does the UI pull from the config files, or does the UI write to a database for that particular section when you're dealing with things like Docker or Kubernetes? I'm going to have to figure out how that's handled, because those are really important things. And hopefully I'm able to manage it from the command line, so any of these standard commands work, and I have the web UI when I want it for managing things like ZFS and the shares and the permissions, but then being able to use all the Docker systems like right from the base of it and being able to go in there. So I think that's pretty cool. It was a little laggy, but it leads no data. I don't know. It's really snappy looking to me, so... Backblaze allegedly returns data. We are a Backblaze user. We have never had any of this alleged data deleted. Backblaze lets you set very clear retention policies. So I got nothing. All I do know is that we use it. We haven't experienced that particular issue with them. We've been using for a few years as well. So I don't have any complaints about Backblaze. UnIFi stuff. Boy, has UnIFi been a fun thing. So I did a video the other day on UnIFi, and I want to bring it up again. And it's the whole problem with actually, let me switch away so I log in. Okay, I'm already logged in. That's fine. This new interface is terrible. I don't understand why they're doing it. Like, what is up with this? The cool thing is, I showed this in the video, the topology thing is the only cool thing I like about the new interface, but I wish they just port this over to the old interface. But I'm not looking at this all the time. I'm looking at it when I need to solve a problem, but that's not all the time. Most of the time when we build out the network looks and works right. We still got our Wi-Fi rectangle there. We have our UnIFi aggravation switch. I do have an idea that maybe Kyle will make a shirt for. Instead of the UnIFi Dream Machine, I want to try and figure out how we can make something that says UnIFi Disappointment Machine. So, because that's what I wanted to start calling it now. And I may do a video on the UnIFi Disappointment Machine and the problems with it. Matter of fact, some people were complaining that this latest update caused more problems with the UDM. So I don't know. But overall, the whole I don't know. This is another stupid problem we found with the UnIFi. Please note what they're pulling here. So this tells me the network version of 6.454, but then it tells me the browser version. I'm not exactly sure why they do that. I thought that was just odd. Like, cool, here's your browser version. But that's what it pulls in Linux. On Windows, it tells you the Windows version you're using. And I don't know how that's relevant. And it also is confusing for people because if you access your UnIFi dashboard through Windows, you actually go, I'm running on a Linux server, if you are, for example, and you'd be like, I'm running on a Linux server, but it seems to say Windows right here. I don't know. They pull user agent information and stick it right there because that's what UnIFi decided to do. I always switch to the classic interface. It's as simple as that. Classic settings. Go away. Deactivate. Back to the world of nice, easy working interface that has better information and is fully functional without me having to go there. I can do 99% of what I want to do right here and be happy with it. So, kind of a stretch play on words. Yes, it is, Kyle. UnIFi Screen Machine. That's not bad. That's a good Halloween one. If we took the little pill bottle one, the UnIFi Dream Machine itself, and turned it into a screen machine, made it look like a ghost. So, yeah. You wish they'd put effort into the edge switch line again. Yeah. So, that's the thing. I don't know. Have you tried the UI storage with the large VDEVs, 168 drives hanging off mine? I don't understand the question, Gary. With the small screen sounding like an eye. Okay, yeah. I think maybe we'll find something on there. Oh, the threat management is called Traffic Inspector, and it's basically useless. Well, I think it was useless in the previous versions, so I don't know that it could get any more useless. It didn't have any time slicing or anything else, so yeah. I don't know. I don't know that there's any truth in saying they had a mass exit of employees. They're a remote workforce. They always have been a very remote company without centralized offices with a bunch of people. They're also very Apple-like in their vagueness of what goes on inside the building or what goes inside the company. Which of course leads to people speculatively just throwing rumors out there. I think the problem comes when you have a owner who loses vision of where the company's going. But here's the problem and why this is not an easy fix. One of the things I listen to a lot is some of the self-development podcasts like Jordan Harbinger. And he's had a lot of entrepreneurs and venture capital people and all kinds of really interesting people he's interviewed on there. But one of the things he's kind of a common thread, you'll hear people bring this up from time to time, is when a person has a great deal of success with something, they end up with sometimes an unfortunate mindset of all things they do are genius and will be successful. And it sometimes is a hard lesson, but it's also so hard to tell someone who, I think, Rob Pereira, the CEO of UnIFi, Ubiquity specifically, when you see an article about him buying a collection of prime multi-million-dollar properties and making, they have a $1 billion $10 billion market cap on their company, it's hard to tell anyone who's making money that you're doing it wrong. Even if I'm some person who has 200,000+ subscribers on YouTube, he doesn't care what Tom says. He's going to do what he wants to do. And that's that. If he decides that we're working on a new UI, then Rob Pereira says a new UI is what gets built. And you don't tell the guy that signs your check or the person that is worth billions of dollars why he is probably of the mindset that he has a vision that he can't share with me. He has a goal aligned where he thinks the company should go and where they should be, and no one's going to tell him different. He's got all the money behind him to back it. So that's where we are. We just become people who vote with our feet and buy a different product if we don't like it. But UnIFi also probably is pretty self-aware that there's not an easy drop-in competitor, and no, don't say TP-Link, that's just going to solve the UnIFi problem at the scale UnIFi solves it at. So especially, the UnIFi stuff is very, one, we're deeply embedded because we have so much of it, but also like when I tried the TP-Link stuff, I don't feel the best commitment from TP-Link of whether or not they're going to build a big product line. Their product line was confusing, and they took the time to copy UnIFi all the way to the bad parts of UnIFi, which doesn't instill confidence in a company that would copy the bad ideas that UnIFi had, and tells me they're not listening to the market either. They're just trying to be a cheaper alternative with putting no effort into innovation at all. I mean, TP-Link had the opportunity to listen to the market and build a better product. They went and just built the same product for a lesser price, and not even as many of them. So kind of weird. I don't know. Let's see. What else we have here? How many cores do you recommend for a laptop for cybersecurity? I don't know. As many as you need. I don't have any of the EA router USIP stuff. Cybersecurity doesn't necessarily require a really fast computer unless you're specifically using it to do something at crack passwords. Cybersecurity is not something that needs a necessarily fast computer. Have you tried Fortinet? I don't like Fortinet. How does Fortinet client decent security endpoint? Fortinet's had a horrible track record of security. They're getting better just because of market shaming. So the big problem and why people don't like to badmouth Fortinet is they have a reseller program that's really good to the people that resell Fortinet. So these people aren't just protecting their time and investment of learning a product and getting used to deploying it, but they're also protecting the fact that it creates a constant revenue stream for them with license renewals. And when companies do a good job of things like that, you'll find people who are willing to defend them because they're defending not just their knowledge of it, but also a revenue stream they get by telling people it's the best thing ever. Realistic people I've talked to and working with it myself, they're like, yeah, it's just buggy and quirky, and their track record of bad security was really long. It took them a long time to start making a product that was actually decent with good security. And I've got a video where I rant just about all the security mishaps. And it's not like, hey, security's hard, someone found a hole in your product. It's like you guys hard-coded credentials, then you guys hard-coded a backdoor accidentally into the VPN product. Like, look up like the magic number Fortinet problem, and it was their answer. Fortinet actually said if you could find the write-up for Fortinet, a customer requested a custom firmware and they push it into production code and everybody got it. Like, that's idiocy. That's not hard security. So they've done a lot better recently, but those are problems with Fortinet for sure. So open source software that competes with UnIFi. Good luck. The amount of money and time you would need to develop it and recouping those development costs is not easy. So, I mean, I'm all for it. If I thought someone could write it, I would fund it, but I don't think I know anyone that could write it. And when you start realistically looking at it, you may be talking about several million in funding to create something to give away. And once you do that, who pays back the millions that were invested? I don't have millions to invest in it, so I'm not positive that's going to happen. At least I'm not the one who can do it. So we need to find someone more charitable. So yeah, TP-Link didn't have 2FA on the cloud controller. Yep, that's the thing. I don't know why. Like I said, they copied all the worst of UnIFi as well as some of the things they do. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's the other problem with all the other companies out there when you talk about Palo Alto or Aruba. And I've done a review on Aruba. I reviewed their product, like the Aruba Instant On. One, trying to figure out Ruckus and Aruba's pricing, licensing, confusing. Like, you have to talk to someone. They do not have good websites that are clear or concise on how they're sold. Also, when you do find out the pricing, you'll find out that they are substantially more expensive than UnIFi, and then you'll go back to going, I guess I'm just going to go with UnIFi. There's a reason UnIFi is not the cheapest, but they're very reasonably priced when you compare them, and they work. That's the bottom line. We've deployed so many of these at scale to so many people. It's kind of like, yeah. And you know, when we talked to a school that we did a deployment for, and they were spending $20,000 annually in licensing. They switched to UnIFi and are no longer spending $20,000 a year annually. And that was a couple of years ago, and they're still happy. And they're like, yeah, the ROI came the first year we did the migration, and 2 years later we're going, this is weird. It still works, and we didn't pay a license renewal. And another year goes by. Hey, it still works, and we didn't pay a license renewal. Wow, we're $40,000 and saving money. Yeah, and like I said, that's why UnIFi is going to be a hard person to knock off their pedestal of being a popular service. That's all there is to it. It's kind of price and not having licensing fees on it. Let's see, what else do we got? Yeah, creating something like UnIFi open source would be a very specific skill set. Here's one of those skill sets that people don't think about, is the collision of understanding network engineering combined with being able to program a whole nice web interface. That's not easy. Those are different skill sets. You have to get the network engineering team to work with the dev team hand in hand to build a product out. This is just not something you easily do. You can say, hey, I want someone to build me an application for accounting, and accounting is got some complexities, but accounting is easier to learn, and the rules of how a ledger works with double entry accounting and writing a system around that is going to be simpler than all the things you need to know to also securely build out network infrastructure with a software-defined networking tool. That's just a bigger challenge. Not an insurmountable one. UnIFi is doing it, and many other companies are as well, but it is an expensive challenge. It is very time-consuming to do. to manage it at the scale and have it work the way something like UnIFi works, or the way Meraki works, or the way Aruba systems work. It's a lot. Matter of fact, the Aruba Instant On, one of my complaints about it, I did the video 2 years ago, and it took them 2 years to finally get some decent features in their cloud application that manage it. It's I forget, I was talking about, Chris from Crosstalk did an updated video, so check out his video on it. It was like 2 years later, they're finally adding some other features that were missing 2 years earlier. And here's Aruba, owned by HP, not a small company by any measure. So do we get a cut of the 40K? We do the consulting. That way they pay us and the client saves the money. So we don't necessarily, we kind of get a cut of it because we're doing the consulting. So just like continually messing up like UBNT requires a different special skill set. It sure does. Yeah, it's, you know, I just did that video with Riley where we talked about building HostiFi. And HostiFi is less complex than building out a whole network infrastructure with, especially because, by the way, you have all the hardware and software and web interface and network engineering knowledge all rolled into one with any of these companies doing it. That's a lot of different facets to manage. And you look at what Riley's doing. Riley's simply taking a tool that has a deployment script, the UnIFi controller, automating the deployment onto Linux servers. And it's overall a less complicated task. But if you watch that video me and Riley did, you'll see it is a very complicated task of trying to find the right people. And there were missteps along the way where different opinions of which technology stack should I use. You go down a path and you blow 100 grand on something and it doesn't work. And then you swing back over the other way and spend another 150 grand to make it work differently. It's not easy. It's not easy to find the talent. It's not easy to make sure you're using the best ideas on the latest version of the software and not just hearing someone's opinion of the software they like to use. Is it best practice? And then overall building it in a secure fashion. These are a lot of things that go into it, and the problem scales as you get bigger. Riley's done an amazing job of managing it. Hats off to him. That's why we did a video together when he hit his annual $1 million plus a year run rate, which is awesome. But yeah, a lot to think about. Oh, I've certainly had people complain about Juniper screwing up and 48 and all those companies. They don't see it in the public forums as much because they don't sell to end users. They only sell to other IT professionals. I know other people that have really bitched about their problems they've had with FortiGate, but they're not posting in a forum anywhere. They're contacting FortiGate support. They're not out complaining anywhere. They're making FortiGate support deal with it, and FortiGate support does deal with it. That's what you're paying for the support for, but it doesn't make the customer happy when it takes them 2 days to deal with a VPN that just doesn't work for no reason at all. We actually got caught up in a problem with getting a pfSense to talk to FortiGate. The only thing FortiGate support did was going, it's your pfSense doing it. It's your pfSense doing it. I had to dig around and find the implementation. It turns out FortiGate had an insecure version of the IPsec they were using that actually had a bug in it. It was just an old version, and we had to bug them to get it to the right version to get everything handshaking properly, to get this whole site set up that was tied with FortiGate. But their support people were useless. The other end was paying for support, and they were aggravated with them too because everyone was trying to achieve the goal of getting these things to talk, and FortiGate was not that helpful. They all have messed up at some point because this stuff is complicated and it's hard and it takes a lot of people, and people complicate things. So yes, no vendor's immune to this. There is no vendor who is spotless and shiny that doesn't do it. I live in the real world and I've dealt with these vendors. I don't absolutely fall in perfect love with any of them. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has problems. I'm just willing to accept that's part of IT. There is no one out there that's just perfect on this stuff. That's all I got to say. So hopefully that makes sense to all of those things. Let's do some rapid fire questions. What else do we want to know before I wander off? Because it's been an hour. I've answered a lot of questions. These are fun. I'm actually going to be doing some more of these Vlog Thursdays where I have other people on here. Oh, maybe you guys want to see something stupid that we printed? Because, I don't know. My staff made this. I just think it's funny. I got nothing. I don't know why they made it. I don't have a purpose for this thing, but I like it a lot. Oh, I was going to title it, but it seemed too clickbaity. Let me see, is there anything in here I can't show? I think I can show all of this. I was going to title it silly, but I didn't. It was going to be titled Tom Goes to Harvard, because Tom went to Harvard. I went out of town for a couple days, and I was wandering around Harvard, MIT, all those places, doing tourist things. So now I can say I've been to Harvard and been to MIT, but I flipped through a couple of them. Yeah. So me and the wife, we do it's Boston, for those of you that don't know where Harvard and MIT are. This is downtown Boston. So yeah, we wander around. They have weird buildings there, but I liked them. They're cool. Harvard buildings and stuff like that. Food. That place is good. So if you go to Boston, Alden Harlow, awesome place in Harvard Square. If you're a fan of Car Talk, this is the original Car Talk offices of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. So yes, that was among the sightseeing Tom had to do. That's the kind of landmarks I like to have pictures of. Let's see, what else? What else do we have on here? How do you set up VLANs on a Netgate 2800? I have a video on Netgate and VLANs, and I have a video on, there's a section in the 2100, I believe, that has VLANs in there. There's also a section, there's another video for pfSense and VLANs. So between pfSense and UnIFi plus VLANs. So I have videos on how to set those things up. I don't know where we're going to be with how they got hacked. I thought about reaching out to Xavier again. He moved, if you didn't know, so I don't know how we're going to handle it. That's a up in the air thing. I have no solid plans on that at all. Any advice on how to get HIPAA training? You can Google that, probably. I think IT Pro TV might have something. They do have videos on compliance. I imagine they have some on HIPAA. We do have an offer code for IT Pro TV. We use IT Pro TV here internally for training. They're great. How is the Netgate 2100 holding up? It still runs the internet at my house. So I would say it's holding up quite well. I still like my Netgate 2100. Thumbs up, happy with it. Good box. You work in Boston. Awesome. Boston's a neat place. I do like it there. It's so different than Detroit. In so many ways. First, they have a transit system there. That's cool. What about PCI payment card industry certified? I don't know. I don't have that certification or any certifications. You can go look at IT Pro TV. They give you a free account, offer code down below. Google or search their site and see if they have a PCI compliance training. I don't know. I don't do PCI compliance. Not my thing. Have you looked at, I don't know what this is, so I'll Google it. So let me Google these things that you're asking. Oh, you want to know about wavelength division multiplexing? I like doing a video on how it works with Wi-Fi. I don't think that's a topic I plan to cover. Maybe, I don't know. Not high on my list. What's the worst news you ever got in your IT career? Ever get chills? I don't have any of that. I never got bad news because I would say I got bad news when the company I was working for 18 years ago filed bankruptcy. That seemed like bad news. That was very angering news. So I guess that counts. Yeah, Boston has a cool... CWDM is fiber. Okay, I just seen the wavelength multiplexing and assuming it was related to Wi-Fi. So I don't know what you're asking about the fiber. Well, let's look here real quick and Google it again. I don't know why I would cover it as a topic. No one's ever asked me that before. So you care about the protocols and way it handles on the fiber. I even had enough people ask me about this that it's been something I thought about. So not likely to do a video. How's that for an easy answer? Do I have an AC Pro 6 yet? I don't think so. I only have the long range 6. I don't think I have an AC Pro 6. Actually, let me look. I'm logged into my UnIFi controller, so we can actually tell you what I have. Where to go? Actually, I gotta switch because I gotta switch to my house. I've been doing some long-term testing with the Wi-Fi 6 at my house. I got to do a video on it soon. It works fine. Haven't any problems with it. We try to keep a diverse array of things here. Oh, that seems bad. Oh, never mind. I know where it's at. So this is at home. And this is a U6LR. So I have a U6LR. I've been using it for a while. And I have no problems at all. All my devices are connected to it and don't have any issues. So here's all the things that are on there. And it all works. So there's that. Those are the things that are connected for testing and stuff like that on there. I don't know, haven't any problems with it. So I would say testing is going quite well with the UnIFi 6. Pro 6 is still in EA. I haven't looked. I haven't been looking at the EA stuff. Cody from Mac Telecom Networks has been looking at the EA stuff. Also, by the way, Cody did a good video on the... he does a lot of good UnIFi videos, but I think all of you watching my videos must have heard of Cody. If not, go subscribe to his channel. But also, the video he just did on layer 3 routing is good, and it shows you how stupid layer 3 routing is on UnIFi. My thoughts on Microsoft Teams as a phone service, that seems like a horrific idea. Microsoft is a company that builds monopolies and then sits on their hands when there's problems with said product they made, unless there's an actual threat to the product causing them to lose customers. So I don't think it's a good idea. Someone will use it. We'll probably end up with a bunch of... I don't think we have any clients on it at the moment. Eventually, we probably will. Whatever. It's life. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't even use Microsoft Teams. So your UnIFi is hosted on your domain. Do you have an internal server for that? We host UnIFi internally, our own server, my server stack. My data center runs it. I have used MikroTik. I have videos on MikroTik. I don't like MikroTik routers. I think MikroTik switches are pretty good. Cody from Mac Telecom Networks. I'll put it right here so we know who Cody is. We'll put this. If you Google Mac Telecom Networks, you will find him. MacTelecom Networks. Easy to find. He has plenty of UnIFi stuff. I've shared his stuff before. And yes, definitely. Cody puts out a lot of good content. So another person you should subscribe to if you're looking for more UnIFi stuff. And he is a nice person. He even said, thanks for the shout out. So he's I think you can click on people's names in here to get to things, right? No, I guess not. Either way, Cody's the one commenting that says Mac Telecom Networks. I have a problem because I don't say like Learn Linux TV. I'll say J, and I don't say craft computing. I say, oh, me and Jeff were talking. And yeah, the MikroTik routers are, I don't know, confusing and not great. But certainly, the botnets are now absolutely insane by MikroTik as well. So Maris is absolutely a massive botnet. And yeah, this is all made up of mostly MikroTiks. So that's fun, right? I'm not a huge fan of them. They're complicated to configure. And so partly, one, they had flaws in their product. That's what led to some of the botnets. Two, they're harder to configure than most of the other systems. Three, they're cheap. So you have a combination of people who are maybe a lot of home users that don't have a lot of budget and are trying to get into something, but also don't have a lot of skill. They don't configure it properly. They become part of a big botnet. It's a collision of all the right factors. And now the Maris botnet, I think, is the largest botnet out there currently attacking infrastructure. And yeah, if you don't know how to configure something because it's harder than usual to configure, and also partly the fault of MikroTik was some default settings that they just assumed people would change, but making inexpensive hardware for the masses and assuming people would change insecure default settings is a horrible idea because they won't. And we now have big botnets because of it. But I'm not a big fan of it. I tried using some of them. I said, this is confusing. This is just not well documented. And so I just gave up on them after playing a little bit with them. I met a few people that really like them. They've taken the time to learn it. But they even admit, anyone I know that does know MikroTik very well says the same thing. It's got a steep learning curve. And I didn't see the value in the learning curve to save a few dollars on the router. But there are some people, there's a guy out there who's making some videos on how to set them up, which is great. It's not going to be me though. There's other people doing it that know how to do it. I'm not going to take the time to learn it. I'm not using it. And I don't really plan to start setting it up. Not on my to-do list, but their switches. I like their Switch OS. I think they did a nice job with that. It's super convoluted. Set up Teams as a PBX as Microsoft doesn't have telecommunications license. You need your own SIP trunks, direct routing. It calls in. Yeah, the Teams setup is a little bit strange. I see. So I've seen MikroTik in a lot of data centers, and I've seen MikroTik in a lot of data centers. Colo is probably what I should say, not necessarily. So I guess Colo is part of a data center. Split hairs. But I do see a lot of MikroTik in a WISP market. The biggest people that I've talked to that use a lot of MikroTik is in a WISP market, wireless ISPs, because that's a low margin business. And I don't blame them at all trying to figure out where they can save money, and saving money by taking the time to learn MikroTik and then deploying lots of MikroTik across a lot of sites. That makes sense. Like the business model for that makes a lot of sense. So I get it. So MikroTik didn't have OpenVPN UDP support. That's weird because UDP is the default protocol for OpenVPN. At least it is on everything else. As far as I know, even OpenVPN itself defaults to. Can use TCP, but UDP is better. So hopefully that makes sense. Any other questions here before I wind it down? I said that a little while ago. I don't really have any particular place to be. I just have some food I'm going to go eat at home and maybe have a beer. So maybe have a beer and do some more. I read a lot. Sometimes I play video games, and mostly I read. So it's hard making a network business that could skew focus towards the cheapest option, and yeah, and make ends meet. It's a challenging business. The WISP industry in general is not high margin that I'm aware of. I've always been told it's not. I get it's a tough market. And they kind of charge a lot, but they also have to do a lot. You know, in northern Michigan, where I have family that lives in the further reaches, that's the only way to get internet because it's so people are so spread out, and you don't even get good or fast internet. And of course, they're using CGNAT and everything else, so there's that. What you gonna do though? Let's see. Anything else in here? Starlink. Starlink is probably just gonna push the margins lower for the people providing WISP. Starlink still has some latency issues. I mean, laws of physics still apply of where it is and how far you got to go. So Starlink's gonna have that challenge. I don't know that it's going to be a drop-in solution for Wisp, but it's certainly going to cut into the margins for people who just want to use things that they don't care as much about latency, people that just want to watch YouTube videos. That's a great solution to use Starlink for. At least I think it is. I don't know. Do you recommend use fiber switches installed of Ethernet switches instead of installed? I think you mean instead of Ethernet switches. I don't understand. Use what you need to use. If you have fiber, use a fiber switch. I don't sometimes understand a question. That's why the forums where you can ask a more in-depth question are a great place to sign up. Starlink latency is less than 20 milliseconds. That seems to vary a little bit because I was told by a few people it does not work well for video conferencing or VoIP because it's higher than that. Not much, but still high enough that those things don't work great. But I don't know. I don't have Starlink. Chris from Crosstalk does. He probably knows more about it than me. Have you talked at all about the TT since you signed up? I don't know what that is. How can you protect yourself from Pegasus spyware? I don't know. There's not an easy answer for that. Don't use a common phone. Don't use an iPhone. It seemed to only attack iPhones. I don't believe Pegasus was an Android malware. Keep your phone up to date. Keep your phone on the latest version. Android overall seems to be pretty good, but you could also not use a phone for things that you may not want to be spied on. It's probably, unless you're a journalist, unless you're someone who would be a target. The average general person is not the target. It is a high-end targeted by nation state. Now, that is a very broad term, so it's not like it's easy to determine whether or not you're targeted. But let's say you are an activist in a country and you are doing something against the government. There is a likelihood that the government could be using some of the tools and going after you with something like Pegasus. But yeah, that is a real realm of possibility. And in cases like that, you should probably not consider using a mainstream phone for your communications because it's going to be a mainstream phone. And if there's a 0-click flaw that's found in those phones, that can be a real problem. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, Tech Tribe. Yes, I have Tech Tribe. I like Tech Tribe. What did the question you asked? Something you said TT. Oh, have you talked at all about the Tech Tribe since you signed up? I mentioned it in my last video that we're using Tech Tribe, and that's about it. I haven't really, I don't know that it needs its own video review or anything like that. I don't know how to do that part. But either way, I mean, I still use Tech Tribe. I'm not there every day. I probably log in every other day and maybe reply to a handful of things. Brett uses it, I think, more than I do. Brett's talked more with people. I think he's had some messaging back and forth about business stuff on there. Tech Tribe is probably, to me, way more business-oriented than it is tech-oriented. I mean, it is specifically tech business-oriented, so it's very focused, but I wouldn't say it's like the go-to place for things like, I don't know, the go-to place for the most deeply technical talk on things. But business-related talk about the tech industry and tools to use and things like that, Tech Tribe is really good. Darknet Diaries. I love it too. Alert on available updates for routers and switches. We are using UnIFi at all of our managed ones, so we manage the alerts there. We can see everything from the UnIFi network. I heard you mention about info about troubleshooting customer issues in another video. I was just curious, what do you guys use? Any particular approach to documentation, knowledge management? Our knowledge management's all in a wiki. So we have a private, internal, not web accessible wiki where we do all of this. Yeah, Brett's on. You can find Brett on Tech Tribe. So, yeah, knowledge management is probably a huge thing. Making sure you have documentation on things, having write-ups, knowing how to fix things. I don't know if there's really an approach as much as it is, take, for example, a QuickBooks setup. Do you know how to fix this issue in QuickBooks? Half the time you're just Googling whatever QuickBooks error they have. And if you've seen the error before, because it's a common QuickBooks error, you don't even have to Google it. You just know the answers to do this thing right here. So much time is fixing printers and things like that. Those are the silly things that people do. Not my favorite stuff to fix. So thoughts on Ubiquity opening up their store to other manufacturers? Are they doing this? I don't know. I didn't know they did. I don't understand the question, maybe. When will the public be able to download pfSense Plus? I don't know. That's a pfSense question. Reach out to Netgate and ask them that. I don't know. I'm sure that they may not reply to that because they've said sometime in the future. They had like a post about it. I'll read through their blog and announcements, and they talk about doing it sometime in the future, but they didn't note when that was. So I don't have any insider information on anything like that. So yeah, printers are fun. Lots of fun with printers. Hey, thanks, Zachary here. More people are showing up. Been here a while and more people keep wandering in. I'm going to run out of things to talk about. I'm just answering questions at this point. People are going to get bored and start wandering off. And eventually, I think I'm at the end of my water now too. I don't think there's anything. This has got the weirdest cap on it. Look at it's like strange. It's that is open and you give it a half turn and it's closed. It's kind of strange, kind of neat. So it closes and opens. It just goes around it. It actually stays, so it's open, but it doesn't come out. I'm fascinated by that more than I should be. There's all kinds of cool things around me, and I'm like, hey, look at the cap on this thing. Might be because I'm tired. So, let's see, what else? Super micro servers. Yeah, I have a super micro video coming soon. I might even get it done this weekend if I'm feeling inspired. The Yeti mug. Yeah, the Yeti mug is a specifically from my friend Harun Mir at Thinks Canary. We did a video together. I may do an updated Canary video as well. So Canary's really cool. The Canary tools. Oh, let's see. I think I've answered all the questions. Is there anything else for the good of the class? Because if not, let's go back to vacation photos. But I actually gotta get something. I gotta get out of here at some point. I'm tired. I've been up since 4 a.m. So, Ubiquity is selling servers. What servers? Curious, I guess. Why did the Family Fun Center need Cat 6? I have no idea. Because they said so. I don't know why they did a lot of things, and that was probably the least questionable choice they had, was running Cat 6 everywhere. That video's fun, but boy, yeah, the of the things I did, yeah, that was just that whole job was a mess. I'm happy I got that job done. So there have that I didn't even know they were doing that. Okay, no idea. So, interesting. I have no idea why they're doing that. So that's just weird. I'm gonna go with that's a weird thing. I didn't know Ubiquity was doing that. Up since 4, get yourself to bed. Yeah, eventually. Eventually, I will fall asleep. Hopefully, it's just not on this channel. So if I don't press the stop button, the video thing keeps going forever. Yeah, so Ubiquity selling third-party stuff. That's strange. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know. All right, I'm going to wind this down now because I'm going to go do a couple more things. I have another video to publish on how to upgrade TrueNAS scale. That video is sitting over here. We'll drag it over to, I'll show you guys this is what it looks like before you press the publish button. How is TrueNAS converting core to scale? I got to come up with a clickbaity title. I have to make a thumbnail. I have to put some times. The timestamps aren't in here. I got to turn on the monetization. Make that money. I got to tell YouTube that it's none of the above. This contains no adult content, shocking content, harmful and dangerous, recreational drug use, hateful or derogatory content. There's no firearms. There's no sensitive events. There's no controversial is, I could do Linux videos and distro videos. Those are controversial, right? And then I have to submit the ad ratings. All right, cool. Now I can monetize this particular video. This is the fun things we get to do as YouTube creators. I don't know what Ubiquity wants to be. I don't know if they want to be Amazon or what. So, no idea. Yeah, this is a very adult content here. This is not made for, not safe for children. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Thanks everyone for joining. Loved having all of you here. Loved answering all the questions. Please join my forums if you want to have a more in-depth discussion, as I said a few times during there. Upgrade. Oh, you guys want to, this is a fun game. Can we come up with a name? Upgrading your core to scale? What's a fun title on this, huh? Upgrade your core with scale. I wanted to weigh in and put some scale in weights on there, like a scale. And, but I don't know. I'll come up with a title. Or I won't, and I'll do it tomorrow because I could just let that sit till tomorrow and deny all of you that want to see the upgrade video. And yeah, upscale your core. I like upscale your core, Garrett. Gareth. Upscale your cores. I'm gonna have to now record an intro that says upscale your core with TrueNAS scale. Scale to the moon with Tom. Yes. I don't do clickbait. I do click interest. There's a difference. I talk about something, but actually answer the question in a video. I try to get you interested in clicking on the video, but not clickbait where you don't really get an answer and it's just a bunch of BS. So I try not to be that person. So yeah, up your cores. That sounds fun, but maybe not. Up your core. I do like that. Makes me think of the old 7-Up commercial. Do you remember? Make 7-Up yours. Look up that. There was some fun commercials on there. Oh, how does a computer get drunk? It takes screenshots. Kyle, make a shirt with a computer doing screenshots. I don't know. Kyle's the artist here, so maybe he can do that because I. Upscale your cores, capitalization. Something to think about. I don't know. I'll chew on all these ideas. But if I don't stop the live stream, I'll never get to those ideas. As much fun as it's been. I have been doing this now for, what the hell time is it? 7:38. We're pushing 2 hours. All right. Yeah. Kyle's the artist. We'll call him artist. He does a lot of other stuff. He arts his side project. His main project is fixing all the MSP stuff and security stuff and closing security tickets and onboarding clients and all kinds of fun stuff. So, yes. All right. Thanks again for everyone who joined, and I will see you next week, but you'll probably see some videos in between, and I love interacting with everyone and all that stuff. Awesome. And for those of you that didn't smash that like button, go ahead and hit that. That tells the YouTube algorithm that other people should be watching this video.